experience coaching. Started in 1991 with Notre Dame, then Ollie Cross had to stop in CFL with the Montreal Alouettes, and then this is why he knows exactly what are we in Europe, because he spent a lot of years in between Barcelona, Berlin, and Cologne in all Europe, and then coming back to Notre Dame, Duke, Miami, South Florida. It's a real pleasure for me to host this, I would say, this wonderful knowledge of football with us. Coach Vass, can you hear us?
I hear you very well.
Well done. So the audience is for you now, Coach. They're here to listen your knowledge and to share everything. Just before I let you the speech, I will just mention to all of the guys, then please feel free to ask all the questions you want during the webinar. We can talk with Coach Vass during all the night. We are here together to share and to talk together. Coach Vass, I will turn off my webcam and I will let you, the audience, just for you. So, here we go.
Here we go. All right, I got to make sure I press the right buttons too.
Yep, I will give you the screen. Wait, give me a second. I will give you the screen.
Okay, sounds good.
Here you are.
Okay, I see me. I see the PowerPoint that I have up there, which I have not shared that yet, correct?
No, you have to share your screen.
Okay, good. I will when the time comes. The first thing, I will just repeat what Pierre just said. As we go through this, let's make it more of a conversation than it is a lecture on my part. I certainly have some notes here that I will share with you and some thoughts I will share with you. But more than anything, I'd like to answer any questions that you may have. So as I go through this, I know sometimes that as teachers we can talk too fast, or we can assume something that you know, and I certainly don't want to do that. I want things to be clear and for you to understand the points that I'm trying to get across. So in doing it, please ask Pierre the question, text it in, whatever the right way to do it is, and he will interject, and I will stop and answer it, and I can always go back and pick up where I left off. But my assignment today is to talk about the vertical passing game. And I will talk about it in general terms, yet also in specific terms. It's like, what do you call it? I happen to call our package Jets, but heck, you could call it Go, you could call it Bazooka, you could call it whatever you want. That doesn't make any difference. It becomes a question of what do you do? So, and I will get to some of that and how we read it and where we throw the ball against certain things and all that type of thing. But at the same point in time, the place to start is always with protection. So let me see if I can't click this thing on and see what happens. I am making the assumption that all you see now is a thing that says the point system. Am I correct?
Yeah, correct for us.
Okay, beautiful. And the point system basically is the fundamental foundation of how we block plays. And it carries into the run game as well as into the passing game. And the application of it here today is as far as protection is concerned. But I'll read it a little bit and probably draw the worldwide analogy that all of you see every time that you watch an NFL game, and that's you see Peyton Manning pointing to people all the time. And you hear people yelling out different things and then pointing to somebody else. And so that's why I call it the point system. You point to somebody, and that point is the starting point where everybody gets their assignment from. So first off, I have to
Son coupé.
Point linebacker is. So I'm just going to read this, and if you can copy it, that's great. If you can take a picture of it, plagiarize it, do whatever you want with it. All right. Everything we do in our offense begins with the quarterback identifying the point linebacker. It is essential we understand how your identification affects what others do and how the play functions. Once you ID the point, everyone adjusts their assignments based off of that identification. And I'm going to give you examples here in a couple of seconds. In our pass offense, our offensive line and backs gain their blocking assignments, and and the quarterback and the receivers know who becomes hot and when we sight adjust based on whom you determine to be the point. I'll give you an example when I get to it in a second. In our run game, everyone takes their assignment based off which linebacker is designated as the point. The point system is designed on the fundamental principle we are facing a 4-3 defense. Thus, with your identification of the point, everyone learns their responsibilities. The point is not always the middle of the three linebackers, but we do refer to the first linebacker to the call side of the play as +1. And the first linebacker away from the point is -1. And I'm going to show you some things here in a minute to point that out. If we are facing a 3-4 defense, the quarterback is required to announce odd before identifying the point. This alerts our our line and the backs. The fourth defensive lineman they are responsible for is now generally located as the -1 linebacker, and he is skipped in the determination of everyone else's responsibilities. So, with all that, let me shut this off and show you something here that I can hold up. So, let's be patient here as we go through it. Okay, now I'm assuming you can just see me. Am I correct? And you now see me holding up.
For us, it's okay.
You now see me holding up
perfect.
whiteboard, and you can see it relatively clearly. All right, if you look at it, just so identified, I've got a guard and a tackle, a center, a guard and a tackle, and for this purpose, this one down here is the running back. All right, we've got 4 defensive linemen, and I'll move these guys in here, probably in a little bit of an unorthodox thing, but those are our 3 linebackers. So now, this is how it works, and we're going to talk about pass protection. In our pass protection, all right, you may be experiencing that. Are we good? We still good?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right, now this is how it works. Our offensive line, these 5 people, are responsible for the 4 down linemen and the linebacker the quarterback points to. So, let's just say this. Let's say designated in our pass protection, we had the back going to the right. Beautiful. Let's say we wanted to identify the Mike. So now they know this. He is going to block here. The tackle is going to block the end. The center and the left guard are going to block the Mike. He's going to block here. He's going to block here. The back always takes from inside out to the side of he's going to. So he would take the next rushing threat from the inside out. He would have him. So now, with this thought in mind, you ask yourself, who has this linebacker? That linebacker becomes the quarterback's responsibility. If he were to blitz, the quarterback has to get rid of the football in a hurry, thus the term hot. All right, now, take the same system. And in the quarterback's mind, he says, I don't want to have the responsibility of throwing hot. I want to make sure my backside is protected. I'm going to send the back to the right. I'm going to make this guy the point. So now, he would still block him. These 2 would now function to him. The back would follow his rule. Take the first thing from the call, from the point to the call side, which goes all the way over that way. The back would now read it 1 to 2. All right? So if he came, he's the back's responsibility. If he dropped and he came, he's the back's responsibility. If they both dropped, the back would be free to release in a pass route. Bring him back. The question now becomes, all right, coach, what if they both come? If they both come, the quarterback knew that he had to throw hot based off of the inability of the back to be able to block 2. So the quarterback's always responsible for 1, and the back has 1, and the line has 4. So when you think of it, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and when you include the quarterback as the 7th, you have 7 blockers, the quarterback being a blocker through the hot principle, and the other people are all picked up. So depending upon coverage, and we could get into that. I don't intend to today because it's not all about pass protection. It's just about the basics of it. But depending upon coverage, you determine who's most likely to rush. whenever you see a guy capped, he's going to come. You could send the line there in the back there and let him go because he's not likely to rush. A lot of it is dependent upon how do you educate your quarterback to identify who the point is. Now, if I can quickly do this, we are now faced with a 3-4 defense. We've got 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers. How do we know? The basic rule said our line is responsible for the 4 down and 1 linebacker. So now in our thought process, in our teaching process, we teach it as Sam, Mike, Skip, and Will. And so in the process of it, as you teach the quarterback, he is going to identify the point. Let's just say he called him the point. If he makes him the point, the line then knows the back has the first thing outside of the point all the way out. The next guy is skipped because he becomes the lines, and then the quarterback is hot off of the will linebacker. So the blocking scheme would go, let me see if I can get this right. They're sitting on the outside shoulders. We got 5 techniques. He's going to block him. He's the point. He's got him. He's got him. He's got him. So they're head up all the way across. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to block 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This guy becomes hot. You can still see it because the back was responsible for that linebacker. Same principle. I'm going to erase these things if I can. And let's take it and say, all right, the quarterback says the same thing. I don't like the idea of having that guy on my backside unprotected. He identifies this guy as the point. And the back is going to go inside out to that side. And so now we are the point. And the first one past the point, away from the call, you call the back to go there. That became the skip because we said odd, 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 odd. So now we're lined up here. We'd slide. We'd go here, here. So those 2 would have those 2. These 2 would have these 2. And the back would have 1 to 2. It would take both of these people, and I know there's a bunch of lines up here, it would take both of those people to rush in order for the quarterback to have to throw hot. Very, very quickly, the point system and how we protect and how we account for picking up a variety of different blitzes. Obviously, you can change all. If you thought both of those guys were coming, identify him as the point. There's the skip. Send the back that way. The back would have one of those 2 guys coming back here. If you were getting zone blitz to the front side, let's say. So there's a variety of ways of pointing it, but the point and the concept is it all starts off of who the quarterback identifies as the point, or in general terms, as people talk now, who's the Mike? 64 is the Mike. 64 is the Mike. I prefer to call just who's the point. 85, or, again, 64, 64. All right, let me catch my breath here, erase this. Pierre, before we go on to the throwing part of it, does anybody have any questions that I can cover and clear up that quick dissertation?
Okay, right now it sounds okay, guys. If you have any question, please send it in the chat, and I will give it to Coach Vass. Okay, anytime, no problem.
You good?
Yeah, we can go through, Coach.
Good. Okay. All right. That's protection. So that's the starting point with the whole thing. Now let me see if I can click the right one here. We should be back to the PowerPoint.
Yes, Coach. Perfect.
And I want to hide that. Yep. Okay. I want to shrink that, and I want to go right there. All right, so I went over that. I didn't go to it, but these are the general rules. Think of the center having the point and the tackle tight end as having +1. That's in the run game. Tight end runs, ID point. You always want to leave somebody for a tight end in your running game. But in the bottom of this thing here, we go down, and in pass protection, the line has the 4 down in the point, versus an odd, the line has the 3 down in the point and -1, the skip, which I already went over.